Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Nice little short one today, showing off and doing a sort of a quick review, I guess you could say, of these. These are from Galen Leather. These are the pen stands that are made here by Walden Woodworkers in Istanbul. And these are really interesting. I really like these and I use these now. So what I thought I would do is just give a quick rundown as to what they are, a little bit about the product, show some pens on it and all of that sort of stuff. So what we'll do is we'll start with the fountain pen nib one here, which I think is really great. Like classic fountain nib shape, little pen rest spot there. And what I thought I'd quickly do is just put a few pens in it. Well, first thing I'll do is I'll show you, like, you know, it's a nice sort of smooth piece of wood. All the edges have been taken off nicely, labelled there on the back. There's no sharp edges, no sort of like, you know, rough points or anything like that. It's just nicely made, and I think it does a really nice job. It's a nice little piece that sits on your desk, and you know, great for Instagram and things like that as well. So what I thought I'd do, show a couple of different sorts of pens in it at different sizes, just so you can see sort of how things look. First thing is the Kaweco Lilliput. Start at the small end. Fits in there beautifully, not going anywhere. A couple of sort of regular size pens here. We've got a TWSBI Eco. Sits in there really nicely. You know, like it's more secure on pens that don't have a, you know, like a big step down off the cap. Visconti Mirage is great in there. And then, you know, a couple of sort of bigger pens. We've got a Visconti, again, Homo Sapiens Bronze Age, which I think looks really sharp in there as well. Really nice product. And then a bigger pen, which is the Gamma something, one of the big Gamma pens. I can never remember which model this is, but like, if we're looking at this in comparison to like a, you know, a TWSBI Eco, you know, you can see it's a big pen, girthy and long, and it sits in there nicely as well. So pros and cons to this particular item is the fact that, you know, like the bit where the pen sits is actually quite short. And so, as I said, like with the TWSBI Eco, to put that on a flat part of the pen, it doesn't sit in there, and so you put that on where the step down is and it gets a little bit in the way. But a pen like, here I've got another sort of smooth one, the Muji fountain pen, sits in there really nicely. But it is a presentation piece. You know, you sit that on your desk, that's gonna, you know, sort of attract attention. But as I said, like, I love it for things like Instagram as well, because it's just a nice, interesting way of showing off your pen. Okay, now let's go to the 3 pen stand. Now this is for me, this is a good one. This is interesting, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I love. Firstly, I do like the label. I put that at the front. I'm not sure if it's designed to be at the front or at the back, but I always put that facing me because I think that looks actually kind of cool. It's got a nice sort of yeah, woodworky feeling about it. But something I love, which makes this really usable, is on the bottom here. It's got these little rubber dots for feet, which give it a good sort of grip and purchase on the desk. Sort of, it's not going to go anywhere. So for me, I sit this one on my desk, and this is where I keep my pens. I don't like to keep my fountain pens in a cup, so the ink isn't going in a particular direction. This is nice and flat. So I thought I would do a similar sort of thing, show a few different pens in it, just on their own. Kaweco Lilliput sits in there nicely. Muji fountain pen, once again, will do the same thing. Visconti Mirage, beautiful in there, but doesn't sit in the wider pens aren't going to sit in the cradle as completely. They sort of sit off the bottom of it. TWSBI Eco, once again, it's that thing of like, that's the flat of the pen, but you know, like, it sits in there perfectly fine. It's not going to go anywhere. That's the thing, even with these bigger pens, they're still not going to go anywhere. Then we get a Visconti Homo Sapiens, and then once again, the Gamma, which sits in there really, like, they are very secure, very comfortable in the slots there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few pens in there at the same time. We're going to talk about a couple of things. So, as you can probably see, there's already sort of a little bit of an issue there. So what we're saying is 1 large pen and 2 sort of regular size pens, they actually don't end up sitting in the cradles very well with that many pens. I tend to end up like alternating, top and tailing a couple, but even still, that's not anymore in the cradle of, you see when I move the others, it sort of drops down in. So a large pen like that will sit nicely in it, but when you're wanting to put more than one pen, like if we just put the two here, like there's a bit of jostling for space. These slots are relatively close together, but so for me, where I use this is I normally will have one pen in it, which is handy, which is nice. Or if I'm going to put two, I'll put them in sort of, I'll use the big ones because they're there, in, you know, sort of with a slot in between. So if I can get this to, so yeah, with a slot in between. Or if you're using sort of more regular size pens, you know, I'll put a TWSBI Eco in one end, something like the Mirage. And then if I've got something slim on the go like the Muji, they can go in between without any problem. But yeah, pros with this are the fact that it looks really great. It sits nicely on the desk. It's not going to go anywhere. And also it's, you know, quite a nice looking piece. You know, it's a nice piece of wood, like the Fountain Pen Loop one. There's no sharp edges. There's no, like, you know, like the only sharp edges are around the metal like label there, but it's well machined, it's well made, it's smoothed out, and these little rubber feet just give it stability on the desk, and it's not going to go anywhere. So it's a really interesting little product, something I really like. They're reasonably well priced. You can go to Galen Leather to see sort of you know, how much they'll set you back, but they're not super expensive, and you know, they're nice little pieces for your desk, and you know, stop your pens rolling around. These are particularly handy if your pens don't have a clip, because the pens will just not go anywhere. So these are something I'm really enjoying using, having on my desk. Nice way to present my pens, and nice way to have them readily available to me wherever I need them. So as I said, these are from Galen Leather, and I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here. You can drop me an email, which is also listed down below. And if you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel, and get in touch and let's see what we can do. In the meantime, enjoy your pens and all your accessories, and I'll talk to you soon.